You'll love that.
Download our app today and enjoy tackle-busting benefits with great odds, more markets and same-game multi every NRL match at Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. For Gamblers' Help, call 1-800-858-858.
Hello and welcome to episode 402 of Fergo on the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Joining me as always is a glorious League Freak. You can also find on Twitter at League Freak. How you going, mate?
Going pretty good, Andrew. It's starting to get cold now, hey?
Yeah, it's almost winter.
Yeah, I'm going to have to bust out my hoodie.
I've already been wearing mine to work.
Have you?
Yeah. I figured in Melbourne there's two things you can choose to do. Wear a hoodie to warm up or drink some of their hot mud.
No.
I'm sorry. I mean world-class coffee. It's one of those two things. They're your two options down here to get warm.
I'm talking about my hoodie, not hoodie.
Hoodie?
Hoodie. Do you know what a hoodie is?
No. I take it it's a hoodie without the hood.
No. It's basically like a hoodie, right? But it's gigantic and fluffy and snuggly and warm.
Oh, like a onesie blanket sort of thing.
Almost, yeah, except it hasn't got a bottom on it.
Oh, so you just got a little flap over your bare ass?
No. It's like
I don't want one.
It's like an oversized hoodie, right?
Yeah.
And the inside of it's all like wool, a wool sort of material, but it's like big, almost like a blanket sort of thing.
Okay, so it's kind of like when you're a kid, you were trying to walk around in a sleeping bag.
Almost, yeah. You pull it up over your head. I was told this week I look absolutely adorable when I wear mine, so it does the job.
Nice. I mean, that is the end goal. It's not about warmth.
Oh, no, it's not about warmth at all. It's about looking
melting heart.
Yeah.
Fair enough too. Yeah, look, I'm obviously not as pretty as you, so I don't see any purpose in getting a naughty.
Don't be like that. Come on now.
But as you know, I'm only here for the facts. So this one, we are going to do our round 10 magic round preview.
This round is very magic. This is the last round for a little while where every single NRL team will have a game during magic round.
Yeah.
Because next year there'll be an uneven number of teams.
That's true. I'm going to be forever shitting on this whole idea of a magic round because it's a Super League idea and we know what their ideas are like.
Yeah, their ideas suck. They suck. I don't understand it. People enjoy it though, so maybe we're wrong. What if we're wrong?
No, we're not wrong.
People are stupid.
I will celebrate it though by putting a sticker on the side of a truck and then eating pizza.
Nice.
I think that's the only way to celebrate Magic Round if we're going to do shit properly.
Andrew, I wouldn't make those jokes because soccer.
Soccer? It's a threat.
What do you expect Super League to do? Because soccer exists.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And there's only one major sponsor in the world that can sponsor sport at any one time.
Soccer. Yeah. By the way, did you see overnight that IMG bought into Super League and the Rugby Football League and all that sort of thing?
IMG?
Yeah.
An insurance company?
And no, I think it's the sports company. Yeah. I think it's called hang on.
I was going to say, if it was an insurance company, get your money out of them very fast.
Yeah. Okay. International Sports Management. That's the one. So they've
ISM?
No.
International Sports Management.
Oh, that's yeah. I've looked at the wrong one.
All right.
It's IMG, I'm sure.
Okay.
Let's look it up. Jeez. Now you've got me wondering about my own Rugby Football League.
The thing is, though, people love it when we do our prep and our research live. There's no point doing this shit beforehand and trying to look all professional.
Yeah. Yeah, it's IMG.
Okay.
So
how much did they pay?
Well, there's absolutely no details. So
they've not paid for it.
Well, my guess is
a new vending machine.
My guess is
They've agreed to restock the
way,
vending machine for free at the start of every month.
They probably found a way to make the Rugby Football League and Super League pay them. So here's the press release on the Rugby Football League website, basically. Rugby Football League and Super League Europe today announced a 12-year strategic partnership with IMG, a global leader in sports, entertainment, media, and fashion owned by Endeavour, to reimagine rugby.
Did you say 12?
Yes.
12 years?
Yes.
And was the other word I heard in there fashion?
Yes.
They're in Northern England.
Yes.
They still think wearing bus driver hats is fashion.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
They're going to reimagine rugby league and its competitions in the UK. The agreement follows the recent decision for the Rugby Football League and Super League to realign and form a new joint venture company. IMG has assembled a team of experts across its media business and the Endeavour network to work with the newly combined entity on strategically repositioning the sport to maximise its commercial potential for long-term growth, build deeper relationships. I like deeper relationships with fans and attract new audiences. The agency will initially focus on competition restructuring, content production and innovation, domestic and international distribution of media rights, digital transformation powered by IMG's digital sports arm, 7 League, branding strategy delivered by Endeavour's cultural marketing agency, 160/90, and streaming through Endeavour's OTT platform, Endeavour Streaming. It's just a lot of fucking buzzwords and shit.
Yeah, it sounds like someone's waving their dick around going, look how massive this thing is.
Yeah. And so...
And you're looking at it going, eh.
Yeah, until anything happens, it's like I don't really care. Like I want to see something happen first before I want to see some detail. I want to see that, IMG has put forward a proposal that the Super League needs to do something or the Rugby Football League needs to get rid of promotion or something, Until then, it's just a deal. If I'm IMG, I want 12 years because I want to be able to work with the sport and it not be short-term things that are being done.
Yeah, but 12 just seems like an odd number. Like, why not just go 10? 12 seems weird.
That's a good
I'm getting the impression with that much overreach, like they seem like they're going to be taking control of pretty much everything. I worry that they've got this very, very cheaply. And the idea is, I think that they've gone to whichever of the 35 different departments is running the English Rugby League and Super League at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
They've probably had 35 meetings to try and make sure everyone's in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
And they've said to them, okay, we will let you we will merge the RFL and Super League back together again. So it's just one entity. And we'll let you then take ownership of it. You can pay whatever you want, but on the proviso that you have to, in order to make this work, you have to make money. And we'll split the money 50-50 as a way of trying to get a buyer on board with a bit of financial safety, I guess, behind them. And they're not forking out all of their financial worth on the Super League purchase. They're hanging on to most of it so that it's a more solid deal, I guess, for the game over there. And then motivate that team who's bought into them to try and get this thing making as much money as possible, because they'll both the RFL and this new sponsorship mob will then both split the spoils from the profits. So it's it's a way of trying to promote you to keep getting better and keep generating more income, which, this is just my guess, which if that is the case on the surface, it's a really smart idea. But when you drill down a little bit, the game over there is so poor that the starting point is, it's in a very, very deep and hard to find hole. And it's a very hard starting spot to try and dig your way up and get into a market where people can spot you and go, oh, that still exists. Let's put money into it. And that's the problem, is it's going to be getting them up and noticed again.
Yeah, but I don't want to comment on it until we know what the deal is, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, all we know is that something's going to happen over 12 years, and a company that's going to maybe be doing it, right? And that's all we know. What happens at the end of 12 years? Is there something in place that if they hit certain KPIs that there is another deal that will kick in? Like, I don't know. And all I know is that the deals that I've seen Super League and the Rugby Football League put together have been catastrophically bad. And so here you have an outside organisation that is in this to make money. They don't care about rugby league. They're in it to make money.
Which is not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing, yeah. But
we've seen it with Formula One. There was a mob that took over that. They didn't really care about Formula One. They cared about the entertainment side of the package, and they've been delivering.
That's true. But what do they want in return, and what will it do to the sport? Because at the end of the day, if in this deal, this organisation comes in and says, you know what, we're switching back to winter, they'll switch back to winter. If they say, you know what, we're thinking, maybe you cut down the rugby league season and then you play some rugby union games. Like, I don't know what this deal is going to be. And until there is some details, I don't know what to think about it, because all I know is that whenever there's details that come out of these decisions by the Rugby Football League and Super League, you normally go down and look at the details, and the details are horrifying. So We'll find out. I guess we'll find out.
I wonder if this mob's actually in charge of any other, even somewhat significant sport anywhere.
Yeah, they are. They're a very large organisation. They're a very large, well-known organisation. So,
in England or globally?
Worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah. They're legit. They're legit. They're not like that. Remember, there was that organisation at the Rugby Football League. Was it Rugby Football League or Super League? Paid money to reject their bid to take over, and then it went bust. It's not like that. This is a big company, well known in sports circles.
So they might have lucked into a good idea.
Look, they might have, but we don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on it.
As soon as there's some details, we'll break down the details and we'll do a podcast about it. But as it stands, all we know that something's going to happen over 12 years.
At least we've got 12 years of content up our sleeves.
Yeah. It'd be great.
Oh, that's locked us in for another, what's that? Several thousand episodes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
So
thanks, IMG.
Yeah, thank you, IMG. So until that happens, we switch focus to this week, and with thanks to Palmerbet.com, we can get all of the best odds on rugby league. And as always, when you go to Palmerbet.com, who are the major sponsor of this podcast, remember to gamble responsibly.
That's right. Never ever bet above your head.
Yeah, exactly. So should we get stuck into it?
We should indeed.
Excellent. So the first game of the round, it is a blockbuster on Friday evening, I guess you call it. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs are taking on the Newcastle Knights.
Oh, my God.
The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs are at $1.71. They're the favourites. The Knights are at $2.15. They're the head-to-head prices on Palmerbet.com. Now, the Newcastle Knights have a 2.5-point head start. They've got $1.85. So there's been a little bit of money there. With the 2.5-point handicap, the Canterbury Bulldogs are at $1.95. And I've got to say, with the way they're playing, I would probably lean towards the Canterbury Bulldogs. I think that this might be the very last game that Adam O'Brien is the coach if they lose.
Yeah, what we've got here is the worst attacking team in the comp versus the worst defensive team in the comp.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, strap yourselves in, people. Yeah, I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with the Bulldogs in this one as well. You a good bloke?
That's all.
He's fine. Look, I'm also going to go for the Bulldogs in this one. I can't see anything that the Knights do is going to be any sort of a threat here. They've got Tex Hoy at 5'8". I think he's mostly just played fullback before, so that's interesting, especially paired with Adam Clune. They're really missing direction in their spine, and they've done nothing this week to fix that. As for the Dogs, I was going to say, as for the Dogs, I mean, Dufty needs to pull his fucking finger out.
Yeah, he does. He's been very poor so far this season. I'm just thinking, I've heard that it's supposed to be pouring rain up there in Brisbane. And if you've got the worst attacking side versus the worst defensive side, maybe you go for the under 35.5 points, which is at $1.90.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because they could both get bogged down in a bit of a slugfest.
They will if they're playing on like a warm bowls green.
Yeah.
Right. So next we've got Manly versus the Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah. So the Manly Seagulls, and I think they're celebrating the very first game these two clubs played heading into this one. That was a famous one where the premiers, the Manly Seagulls, took on the brand new Brisbane Broncos and they got flogged by the Broncos.
44-10. And in that game, Terry Madison scored 24 points or something like that. And it was the club record for most points in a game for over a decade anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that really is crazy. So the Manly Seagulls are favourites in this one. They're at $1.60 on Palmerbet.com. The Brisbane Broncos are out to $2.35. The Broncos only have a 3.5 point head start at $1.90, and the Manly Seagulls have the 3.5 point handicap also at $1.90. This once again, with the overs and unders for total points, I don't know how I feel about this one, because if it pours rain, I could see where this is a low scoring game. So the over under is 35.5. It's 37.5, sorry. And I feel as though if it rains, you'd go the unders and you'd be pretty comfortable with that. But if it is a dry track, definitely overs for me.
Yeah, I can't see Manly getting beaten this. And even if it's, very light rain, I can still see him putting on a score here.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest concern with the Broncos is Billy Walters is still in the 17th.
Yeah.
They've got him at hooker. He's not NRL quality, sorry.
It's a problem now. Like they've moved him around to so many positions and he hasn't really done well at all in any of them. And now it is an issue where I think somebody needs to say to Kevin Walters, like, no.
Yeah, stop picking him. He's just not good enough.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, they've got him at hooker, which he hasn't played too much of, especially in NRL career.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got two quality hookers. One's an extended bench, one's on the bench. Even if they're not absolute world beaters, they're still better than Billy Walters.
Yes.
Moses and Bai is a better hooker than Billy Walters.
I'd agree.
So I've got to get him out of there. Billy Walters is, I'll be honest, he would struggle to hold down a spot in a Super League squad. I think he's a championship level player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look, I don't think he would stand out in New South Wales Cup level, which would make him a Super League level player to me, but not a standout Super League level player.
Yeah, I've just not seen enough from him that makes me think he deserves to be playing at this level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. That. And he's had plenty of opportunity too.
And with good coaches.
Yes.
And just hasn't developed his game. So I've got no interest in him anymore. I'm just throwing him in the bin.
That's fair enough. The Seagulls have been a little bit funny the last month or so, and the Broncos have been starting to come back a little bit. I'm kind of like you, though. I think that I would need the Broncos to win this game for me to put them into that next level of teams. So I think it's fair enough that Manly is the favourite in this one. If the Broncos can come out and win this one, then I think I'm willing to say that they are in that probably 6 or 7 area in terms of the NRL ladder at the moment anyway.
Yeah, I think with Ben Trbojevic playing a good game last week, Tom now, he's now got some runs in his legs. I don't think it's going to take too long for the Manly attack to really start to click.
Mm-hmm.
And as we saw last year, when they click, they score at very near the same rate that the Melbourne Storm score at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a scary prospect. So if you don't bring your A game against that side, they will run up a cricket score on you.
Definitely. Now, we move on to Saturday. I think probably the best day of Magic round. We've actually got an insider from Fergo on the Free going up for Magic round, but we will keep that, close to the chest. Isn't it weird that people say close to your vest? It's close to your chest, right?
Yeah, I've never heard close to the vest before.
I hear so many people saying, "Oh, I'm keeping it close to my vest." It's like that's exactly how I feel when they say it.
Yeah, summed up perfectly there, Darcy. He's on the money, this kid.
3-man podcast now. It's great.
Yeah.
So the first game on Saturday afternoon is the New Zealand Warriors taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Really good timer for the Rabbitohs, hey?
God.
Are you going to miss this game, Andrew?
Another blood-driven game. Where's the magic here?
I know. So Palmerbet.com has the South Sydney Rabbitohs as favourites at $1.39. The New Zealand Warriors are at $3. The Warriors have a 7.5 point head start at $1.90. And Souths have the 7.5 point handicap also at $1.90. I like Souths in the head-to-head, and I like Souths with the handicap.
Yeah, those odds have got the Warriors pretty short for mine.
I agree.
Yeah, get on the bunnies, I say. I'm picking South there comfortably. I'm still not convinced by South at all, but how can anyone be convinced by that Warriors outfit? That performance last week against the Sharks, and let's be honest, the Sharks were very, very good, but the Sharks were down, they were down to 11 men for 10 minutes, and the Warriors were playing the dumbest possible football against it. But whenever you're playing against, 1 man less or 2 men less, the dumbest thing you can do is the almost obvious thing that teams will want to do, and that is spread the ball wide. Because what your opponents will do is they'll thin out their numbers in the middle, and they'll just sprint wide and slide really fast. So you've got to throw the fucking ball up the middle, draw those defenders in and compress their defensive line. That's how you get the gaps out wide. But the Warriors kept just spinning it wide all the time instead of going through the middle. So the defense didn't have to number up in numbers in the middle. So they could stay spread out. It was so stupid watching them. And every time they actually did put one up the middle, you went, oh, here it comes. They figured it out. And then they'd fuck it up.
Yeah. They're just such a dumb football team. I can't believe that first-grade footballers can be so stupid. But,
it was infuriating to watch, and I'm not a Warriors fan.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it going, how can you be this dumb?
The Rabbitohs have not been great this year, but they should be many levels above this Warriors team who, it is teetering for the Warriors on falling apart really badly and then being left behind in the competition, I reckon.
Yeah, and I think there's a few South players whose form's been a little bit poor, to say the least, and they may use this game to rectify that. And if that's the case, oh boy.
Could be a big one. Now, the next game sees the... You're going to love this matchup. The Gold Coast Titans taking on the St. George Illawarra Dragons.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The St. George Illawarra Dragons on Palmerbet.com are at $1.85, whereas the Gold Coast Titans are at $1.95. The Titans have... Actually, it's the St. George Illawarra Dragons who have a 1.5 point head start. And there's been money on that at $1.81. And the 1.5 point handicap for the Titans, they're out to $2. So, you know, people have been backing the Dragons, and I understand why. I'm completely out in the Titans. I'm so out in the Titans. Not quite at Canberra Raiders levels, but I'm firmly out on the Titans. And I think that the Dragons have been playing some not bad football. Like, you've got to beat the Dragons.
Yeah, look, the coach has finally pulled the trigger on Kevin Proctor, because he's been, let's be honest, and let's be firm, he's been a fucking plotter this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to call him Kevin Plotter from now
on. Okay.
He's been dropped to the extended bench. But Greg Marzu, Corey Thompson have been reasonable. I know they've not been fantastic, but they've not been the problem. But Jaden Campbell's come back in the side and he's gone, let's just have a reset on the back line. So Jaden Campbell's at fullback, Philip Sammy's on the wing, Asako's been moved to the other wing, Eason Masters at centre, which means Brimson's now at 5'8". The spine looks a bit more effective now.
Yeah, but that's a lot of changes.
That's the problem. It's a lot of changes. So I'm just not convinced with it. The Dragons, I don't know. The problem with the Dragons, I find, is they're only 1 or 2 losses away from fucking imploding.
That's how I feel about them as well. Yeah. I feel as though they're competing really well, and I think they're at about the ceiling of what you can expect out of them, and that's why it's scary that if they have a bad loss here or there, I could see it where their season ends, where they have 8 straight losses or something like that, you know?
Yeah. But I wish they'd replace Moses and by a fullback.
Yeah, that would change everything for me. That would, I mean, did you see that ball where he was beaten all ends up by Nick Meaney last week? I think it was Nick Meaney, where he just, Moses and By come in at the angle and Nick Meaney just did a bit of a swerve and Moses and By was just left for dead. And I just looked at that and was like, I couldn't even be upset at Moses and By. He's not a fullback, you know?
No, but at this stage, he's almost fallen behind Aaron Woods as far as quality fullbacks go at the Dragons.
Yeah.
He's a worry. And the only reason why he's there is because Cody Ramsey was so goddamn dire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Ramsey gets in the side. I watch him every time there's a high ball kick towards him. You just go, he's going to fuck this up.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think when he came into first grade, he did a few handy things and he showed a few signs that he might be a pretty handy player, but there was always that thing hanging over him, as you said, that he was going to drop the ball. And it never really progressed beyond that, unfortunately, for him.
No, I think Phil Gould, I think it was Phil Gould said something at best by saying he's an awkward thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although when it comes to awkward things, Phil Gould would know all about that. What a drama queen. Can you imagine being around him all the time? Fucking drama that he creates. Like, even now, like, he keeps going on this a binge where he blocks everyone on Twitter. Like, and I mean everyone. And then he starts to threaten it. He's going to jump on and off Twitter and stuff. It's like, fucking, You're an old man. What are you doing? Anyway, I just need to say that. Now, the big game of Magic Round, and this one is actually going to be Magic. We have your defending 2021 NRL Premiers, the Penrith Panthers, coming off their first loss of the season, taking on the Melbourne Storm. The Penrith Panthers are heavy favourites in this game at $1.65 on Palmerbet.com. The Melbourne Storm are at $2.17. The Melbourne Storm have a 2.5 point head start at $1.85, so there's been a little bit of money there. And with the 2.5 point handicap, the Penrith Panthers are at $1.95. If it was my money, I would put it on the Storm in their head-to-head, and I will be tipping the Storm because I think the Panthers are a little bit off. The Storm are red hot, and I need to see the Panthers put somebody to the sword.
Okay, there's two things about this game, which I think confirms who I'm picking here, and that is Pappenhausen's out for a month.
Yep.
And Charlie Staines is not in the 17. So for me, this is a Panthers win over the Storm. It'll be damn tight. I would be surprised if there's 30 points scored in this game.
I know that through the start of the season, we've looked at the Panthers at times and said, wow, that was a premiership team standing up. I want to see them do that against the Storm. I really want to see them do that against the Storm. Because the Storm, their form is absolutely unbelievable at the moment. And if they could stop the Storm in this game, I think that even despite the loss last weekend, it'd be a bit of a shudder would go through the competition.
Yeah, look.
And I know Pappenhausen's a big player, and to not have him is huge. But we've seen the way the Panthers can negate good fullbacks with their kicking game. And I think that I'm not saying you can negate Pappenhausen completely, but if any team could do it, you'd think it would be the Panthers.
The thing I find with Pappenhausen at the moment is the ease in which he's scoring points is something it's pretty vital to the Storm's attack at the moment. I mean, he's able to score points at will. And to put into perspective, and it's hard to put into perspective because we have a bloke called Dave Brown who has forever been regarded as the Don Bradman of rugby league, purely because the scoring rate that he had, especially in 1935, no one's ever got close to it for any long part of the season. But after 9 games in 1935, he had scored less points than what Ryan Pappenhausen scored after 9 games so far this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and he ended up scoring 244 points in 15 games, which is insane. And Pappenhausen's already got 127 or something after 9. So
127. How does that rank against the worst attack in the NRL?
The Bulldogs have got 90.
Sorry, Bulldogs fans. So you're tipping the Panthers in that one.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Pappenhausen has 127 points. Canberra has 128. The West Tigers have 114. Canterbury have 90, and Newcastle have 108.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's kind of shocking.
He's lapping teams, and so you take that out of a team, it's going to hurt their attacking power. Especially given he's a fullback. So, their attack's still going to be sharp. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be racking up cricket scores anymore.
Yeah.
The thing I think we all need to start thinking that the Melbourne Storm racking up cricket scores thing is going to be a regular thing. I think we need to stop thinking about that now because they've got I think they've got 3 tough games in a row now. Penrith, Cowboys, and then Manly. Then they've got to bye, and then we're into the Origin period. And then they play a bunch of strong teams during the Origin period. And then it's not until round 18, round 19 that things start sort of settling down, Origin's over, and they get a bit of a mix of games against some of the lower, poorer performing teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be 8 or 9 games before we get to see the Storm back at this sort of attacking level that they're at the moment. I think it's something we all kind of need to sort of, especially the media at the moment, just calm down. It's been amazing watching the Storm play at the moment and how insanely easy it is for them to score points, and comparing them with that iconic East side from 1935 and how they've scored more points after 9 games than what they had. That's all very, very well and good. But whether they can sustain it and keep that going, I think is going to be too tall an order. I don't think they're going to be the first team to score 600 points after 16 games, because that's what you need to be to beat that East side from 1935. They had 599 points after 16 games.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get there.
Well, we'll find out. That's why they play the games.
That's all right.
Now, the first game on Sunday afternoon is the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, and they're taking on the Canberra Raiders. The Sharks are at $1.25 with Palmerbet.com in the head-to-head. The Canberra Raiders are at $4. The Canberra Raiders have a 10.5-point head start at $1.90. And obviously with the 10.5-point handicap, the Sharks are at $1.90 as well. So that line hasn't moved at all. I've made it very clear what I think about the Canberra Raiders. P-Hearts, gutless. No redeeming features whatsoever. They will fold, they will crack, and then they will whinge afterwards. I expect the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks to put up a very big win over such a gutless outfit.
Yeah, I'll start off subtle.
Okay.
Let's start with that. Okay. I'm picking the Sharks here. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. It will be interesting, though, because Hines is shifted back to fullback because Will Kennedy's been suspended for his coat hanger last week. And Jesse Ramien also got suspended. So we've got Connor Tracy moving to centre. Braden Trindle moves into halfback. There's a lot of reshuffling going on. Last week we had Finnegan started at prop and McInnes at lock. Whether they do that again here, I don't know, because the one thing that you need to be mindful of when playing against Canberra is that they do have a very big forward pack and they can make good post-contact meters. They are also rather docile, other than Whitehead, because they don't try and Papali, they don't try and get offloads away. So they're doing all the good things initially, getting through that, the initial impact, they're pushing through the line, but they're not trying to get the ball away and create second phase play, which is what would actually help them score points. So be interesting to see what happens. Wade Graham on the bench. I wasn't too sure how they'd use him this time. I'm still not too certain. I see no reason why you would drop either Nakora or Tig Wilton at the moment. Wilton's been very impressive so far this season. I can't see why you would move either of those out to accommodate Graham. And I thought maybe with Kennedy out, I would see a possibility of putting Moylan at fullback and Graham at 6 with Hines at 7.
Yeah.
That way you're kind of keeping your spine largely together, but you're having a very, very good defender, as well as a handy enough ball player. You can park him on the left side just like Moylan would do. In Wade Graham, I think it'd work fine, and then you can put another big forward on the bench if you needed to. But in saying that, I still think the Sharks will do this comfortably.
Yeah, I think the other thing is too, you could do that against this Canberra side because they've got no fucking balls whatsoever. So, they're going to roll over and die for this Sharks team. And Get onto Palmerbet.com and back the Sharks. Now, the next game on Sunday afternoon, bit of a cracker, this one. Two of my close friends are really pumped up about this game. Neither of them are going to speak about this game because they don't want to have a falling out. It's the Sydney City Roosters taking on the Paramedic Eels in the head-to-head on Palmerbet.com. The Paramedic Eels are at $1.70 favourites. The Sydney City Roosters are at $2.17. The Sydney Roosters have the 2.5-point head start at $1.80, which obviously there's been money on that. And with the 2.5-point handicap, the Paramedic Eels have blown out to $1.95.
I'm going to go with the Roosters. And for one reason, I see Victor Radley is going to have one job, and that is to rush up on Mitch Moses. And he's not even going to have to have the job of tackling him or shutting him down. Just rush up on him and balk him. And that's all you got to do is to make Moses stop running the ball and start going sideways. And that's all he'll do. And if he does that, there goes Parramatta's attack. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. And I think also the Roosters have yet to sort of put together two really good back-to-back performances. And every game you see big chunks of them playing really good football, and then for some reason they just go into autopilot mode and they wake up and go, oh fuck, we're going to score points again, and have a little bit of panic football. I think that might not happen this week, and they might be a little bit more focused to try and build a bit of momentum coming this Origin period, because there's a fair chance too they may not get too severely impacted during Origin. So, I mean, they will get impacted, but it may not be as severe, especially when you can put Manu at fullback to cover Tedesco and really suffer no difference in quality.
Yeah, been outstanding this year, Manu.
Absolutely, and I don't see any reason why Kiri will be playing Origin. Sam Walker won't be. So the spine is going to stay intact, and that's a key thing. Well, largely intact. I mean, Manu's going to replace Tedesco, but that's pretty much it. So I think they'll be working really hard to try and build some momentum coming this Origin period and try and recover some of the earlier losses through this period. Set up a finals run, I guess, off the back of it. So I reckon they might start here and they'll sort of strangle the Eels. I reckon it'll be a bit of a grind this one, but I've got the Roosters.
I was having a conversation with the two Jamies who were on for our Fuck, Marry, Dump episode a couple of weeks ago, and obviously one of them supports the Roosters, the other one supports the Paramedic Eels, and I said it would be very Paramedic Eels to beat the Panthers last week and then just completely shit the bed in this game. It just feels like a real Eels thing to do. I've got a lot of concerns about the way that the Sydney Roosters are playing, and I'll do an episode about that coming up, but I just think that the way that they're playing is very different, in attack, very different from the way every other team is playing, and I don't think I like it. There's also a lot of speculation that has happened over the last 24 hours about Luke Keary at the club. Now, I think that a lot of it is hot air and bullshit by the media, but it's got to affect Keary and when you look at the way that the Roosters tend to tap you on the shoulder and say, look, it's time to move on, and they do it pretty ruthlessly and very cleanly. And so with this speculation that's going on in the media, I can see where that would be getting to Keary a little bit. I'm kind of like you. I kind of want to tip the Roosters in this one. And a lot of it is based upon the Eels just shitting the bed after a really good win.
Yeah, as you said, they do have form for that.
Yeah. Just when you think everything's, looking up for the Paramedic Eels, and then they would come out and lose by 30 to the Roosters. And you'd be like, well, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a worrying game for the Eels. And I don't know. I'm very confident for some reason in a Roosters win.
The only thing that worries me is Reid Marnie's in such good form.
That's true.
And that Roosters pack worries me a little bit. I think they're not where they wanted them to be. And, you know, if he has a big game, he could win it himself. But I think I'm going to tip the Roosters. Fuck it.
That's a ticket.
All right, so the last game of the round, it's the big one for you, Andrew. The grudge match. The West's Tigers take on the North Queensland Cowboys. The North Queensland Cowboys are at they're favourites on Palmerbet.com. They're at $1.34. The West Tigers are at $3.29. The West Tigers have an 8.5 point head start. How about that? At $1.87, and with the 8.5 point handicap, the North Queensland Cowboys are at $1.93. I like the 8.5 point head start there for the West Tigers. Hey.
Yeah, look, this is. It's interesting. I see no reason why the Cowboys can't win this comfortably. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you know, it's one of those games that the Tigers just seem to have this knack to get up for games against the Cowboys and often beat them. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Tigers have they got a perfect record during Magic Round?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I think they do.
Mm.
So that's another interesting one. There is one change here that I like, and that is Little's been dropped and Jake Simpkin will be hooker.
Mm-hmm.
I like that move. There's one I don't like, and that is Oliver Gildart's been retained in the side.
That's a problem.
The other one that I found, which is surprising to me because I've heard nothing about it anywhere, former Sharks player Farmawanu Brown is actually a Tigers player. Don't know when that happened.
I can't remember him at all.
Yeah, he played, I'm going to guess here about 2014, 2015 for the Sharks. He's a handy enough player.
Mm-hmm.
He might have played an international game for one of the Pacific Islands. I can't remember which one now, sorry. Mm-hmm. But then he went over to England for a while and played over there.
Okay.
The Tigers picked him up. He's a solidly built 5'8".
Okay.
But I had no idea he was at the Tigers. I mean, I don't know why he'd be on the extended bench. Maybe they've run out of players to name there. I don't know. But
obviously, they looked at as a centre.
More than likely. The other thing here is I think that the Tigers bench worries me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Offa Hengawi has been more rocks than diamonds. Tyrone Peachey has been patchy at best.
Yeah, well, his addition to the club has been a sum total of 0, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I'd probably prefer to see Alex Twal at lock, Offa Hengawi on the bench, and maybe drop Peachey to lower grades until he can lift his form up and put some of the, Thomas McHale or someone like that on the bench or something like that. I don't know.
Mm.
I think just because we're paying these few blokes big money doesn't mean we should constantly always have them in the 17. They need to go
Luke
on.
Brooks out then. Luke Brooks gone. Shot into the sun.
That's the thing. It's hard with Brooks at the moment because it's not like he's playing bad.
Yeah.
Hastings came back anyway. It's not like he's playing bad. And Simpkin at hooker is going to help the Tigers attack an awful lot because he does talk. He's a bit of an organiser, whereas Little isn't. So that takes a bit of pressure off Hastings, which will also take pressure off Brooks. So the Tigers' attack should be reasonably good in this game. Their defence has been obviously a lot better this year than has been in previous seasons, but it's still not great.
True. Now, there's one issue that I find with this game. It's a large Tongan man by the name of Jason, and the West Tigers are going to have to try and stop this large Tongan man called Jason, and I don't believe they have the capacity to.
all they've got to do is see out that period that he's on the field.
So whenever he's on the field, they're fucked.
Yeah. But when he goes off, it's like, right, let's score some points and then get more than the Cowboys until he comes back on, and then hope that they don't score more than us before full time.
That's genius. I can't even argue with that. That sounds like something you would hear Brian Noble come up with, hey?
Sounds like something Nathan Brown would come up with.
I would, if I said to you, will Jason Taumalolo run for more than 220 metres or less, what would you take?
More. Especially if it's going to be wet.
Yeah.
But making meters in the wet is tough. But so is trying to get a grip on a wet Superman.
Yes.
So I still think he's going to make plenty of meters through the middle. That's going to be the big issue, and I don't know if they know how to stop that. The smart money would be try and get your back rowers to defend a little bit tighter. And it's something the Tigers can afford to do on one side because they've got another second rower in Garner playing at centre. So they can afford to have one side of the field defending a bit tighter in, but there's an easy way for the Cowboys to circumvent that, and that is to just play on the other side of the field with, almost move Taumalolo to the second row. Have him run on the other side because he's going to be running at fucking Gildart.
Yeah, and good luck with that, Oliver.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think you're going to see much of Taumalolo running at Garner's side. He's going to run at Gildart's side.
The toe that Garner showed last week in that game.
Yeah,
he was pretty quick, hey.
This is what surprised me is everyone's talking about Talakai and how well he's done the transition from second row to centre and how well he's playing. No one said shit about Garner, and Garner hasn't really been faulted. And it's not like he's playing out of his skin, but he hasn't leaked a ton of points either. There's a reason why the Tigers' defence has been pretty solid. You've got a good defensive back row playing at centre instead of James Roberts, who's like I was going to say wet paper bag, but he actually has a little bit of resistance in it.
I would have described him as a very, very, very rich man's Jared Crocker.
Who, Roberts?
Yeah, in effect.
No. I think it's only rich because James Roberts is very, 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 very overpaid and overrated.
Yeah, that's true. So's Jared Crocker.
Yeah, I'd still take Crocker over Roberts.
I would take Roberts every day of the week over Crocker.
We've been through part of this before. No, I'll add some more to it. Okay. Crocker's cheaper. He can kick goals better than Roberts can.
He can kick goals, right? But he will give up 1 million points. He does nothing Roberts. In attack, right? He leaves you with a 12-man defensive line, and like all of the other Canberra Raiders, weak. No balls.
Yeah. I'd still take him over Roberts.
The only thing the Canberra Raiders are good at is clutching their Kleenexes. That's all they're good at.
I'll still take him over Roberts. There's two reasons, okay? One, he's cheaper, and B, he's going to retire before him.
That's a pretty good point, actually. Now, that's our wrap-up of Magic Round, thanks to Palmerbet.com. I think that, obviously, the Panthers versus Storm game is the one we're all waiting for, but I really am excited for that Eels versus Roosters game too. That's the other one that's getting me.
And the two massive bludgy games are going to be great to watch.
You reckon that the Bulldogs versus Knights and who would you say, Titans versus Dragons?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Bulldogs versus Knights is going to be special in the sense of, that whoever loses that one there is no avoiding the full-on crisis week that they've got again coming up. Like if Trent Barrett loses that one against an out-of-form Knights team, the Bulldogs fans who are already pissed off are just going to go off their heads. And for the Knights, I mean, they'd have to sack O'Brien if he loses to the Bulldogs. They just have to.
Yeah, so if some of these teams have got, if you got Barrett, Brown, O'Brien, if they all lose this week, surely there's a fucking coach clean out going on soon in 3 clubs.
Yeah.
Surely.
You'd think so. Especially if the Rabbitohs, like, who are not in good form, if they put up like 44 points on the Warriors, something like that, and the Warriors have just let in like this ridiculous amount of points over the last 3 games.
Yeah. Oh, that Warriors side has been atrocious.
So bad.
Atrocious. I know I said it before, but I have not seen a more insipid display from a team in many, many years, and I support the West Tigers. Tigers have never had 70 points put on them. Oh boy, that team's a worry.
They had that game against I think it was the Storm, the week that remember they played at Leichhardt Oval, and they just gave up.
Yeah.
And that was when they were celebrating the late great Tommy Rodonigus, and I'm still disgusted by that.
Absolutely, likewise.
But to just do that week and week and week, and it's like that's crazy that they do that.
Yeah. Oh, the Tigers have got a few points where they gave up and didn't really turn up at all. There's that period in I think 2015 to 2018 or so against Canberra.
Mm-hmm.
Canberra just turned up with cricket bats. They go, okay, we'll just put up another half century here, another half century there. Fucking declare at 60. And there was a game, you may not remember it, there was a game back when we had the big 3. Sorry, the big 4. It was the big 4. Remember the big 4?
Yeah.
Made us so successful, the big 4.
Yeah, the big 4, there's a big future for the big 4.
Yeah, they were all going to stay together, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But there was drama with them possibly leaving, and drama with might have been Jason Taylor and Robbie Farah or some shit. I don't know. It was all going on just before coming into a game between the Tigers and the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cowboys racked up a massive score by halftime. Was it Taylor or was it Mick Potter? Might have been Mick Potter. It was when the first bit of talk came up about the big 4 and what we're going to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was horrible. I'm going to find it. Need to go through these bad memories.
I was going to go through and see if we had any emails, and I had a look, and I've got 40 emails to go through.
Sweet, let's read them.
Most of them being spam. Hang on, let's see. That's spam. Spam.
Yeah. 64 to 6.
64 to 6.
Half-time, the Cowboys led 32-0.
Jeez. It's when you get those score lines at halftime and you're like, you start doing the math and you know that a lot of points can come late in these games and you're like, oh man, this could be one of those scores. Like I know that you're like me, that when you think that a team might be sniffing around 80 plus points, you start thinking, oh, am I going to see something historic here?
Yeah, I started breaking out the spreadsheets.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's so difficult to get past that. Once you get past 60, it's difficult. But then to go beyond, that's why the Storm getting 70 is so outrageous.
Oh, absolutely. As I said at the time, it's only happened 10 times in the history of the game now.
Mm-hmm.
70. So, yeah, pretty phenomenal.
I've been offered a really good deal on fleecy bathrobes in the emails.
Accept. Email them back.
I sent them my credit card details. It seems pretty legit. And a lot of people that have found my website and they want to help me with my SEO because they say that my website's hard to find. So that's a bit silly. That's not how you send your SEO work shit out, you idiots. But yeah, I'm going through. I'm down to 11. No, that's not one. That's not one. That's not one. That's not one. Dirty photo update. Ooh, that seems legit.
You've updated your dirty photos?
No, apparently somebody else has.
All right. They've updated your dirty photos.
Be very boring if they did. Okay, yeah, we've got no emails from our listeners. Good one, listeners.
All we did was ask for them.
Yeah.
Why do you defy us so?
Last time around, though, to be fair.
That's true.
So send in your emails. You go to your email machine, you go and put in podcast@leaguefreak.com. Send us emails about whatever you want to send us emails about.
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this sucker up, hey?
We should do that, yes.
Yep.
I'm just checking to see if we've had any reviews. This could be a section all on its own. No, we haven't. None for the year.
Not
one for the year.
Wow.
I mean, I don't want to sound sad or lonely, but fuck me. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks also to the good people at Palmerbet. They're not linked to that other Palmer.
No, they put out a press release saying that too.
That's exactly right. Don't get them confused with that dickhead who sends you stupid text messages that don't involve betting. He's a peanut. Talking about Palmerbet. Much better. So thanks to Palmerbet. Always remember to gamble responsibly. You can also find us on the socials on Instagram and Twitter at Fergo Freak Pod. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace. If you think we should be on any other socials, let us know and we'll set up an account. Because why the hell not? And that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you send around the podcast if you enjoyed it. And enjoy Magic Round. There's so many Magic games.
So much magic.
I'm gonna grab my wand and just hold it all weekend.
Is it a big wand?
Very big, thick, girthy.
Yeah.
You know.
You only want the big ones.
Yeah.
So enjoy the magic you produce with your big wand.
Thank you.
And feel free, everybody else, to grab a wand as well. And we'll catch us all after the magic has dispersed.
Palmerbet with the big don't argue. Punters will love that. Download our app today and enjoy tackle busting benefits with great odds, more markets and same game multi every NRL match at Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. For Gamblers' Help, call 1-800-858-858.